Hey guys, welcome to an episode of Michigan Fishing. Title basically explains it. It's a video about why heavy pound braids are not bad, why they're good, why they have their place in bass fishing. So you guys have probably all seen videos where people that comment that aren't as advanced in bass fishing as many of us are, and are like, why do you need 50-pound braid or even 40 or 30-pound braid or even up for bass fishing? You're fishing for bass. Why do you need that? Well, this video I'm basically going to say, let's say 40 to 50 pound braid and up. Now the reason you need those heavy braids is most of the time they're heavy cover application lines. That's what they're basically for. They're super lines. And this is 65-pound braid right here, frogging. I use 40 to 80 depending, well 40 to 65. I'd never use 80 on frogging. You just don't get casting distance. Probably depends depending on your line. FX2 is probably a little bit better than some other stuff. But 40 open water, 50 good overall, 65 heavy cover. That's basically how I go about it. But anyways, it's the reason we have these heavy pound braids for bass fishing, which really you're fishing for like bass at pound to, well, let's say we're in Texas and you got 12 and 13 pound bass. But yeah, 65-pound braid to 80-pound braid, that seems pretty heavy for a fish like that. Well, the reason we have those is because, one, it cuts vegetation. So if you guys have ever hooked into a lily pad and realize how hard it is to pull that lily pad out, you got to think of it this way. You got 65-pound braid, you got your big frogging rod, your 7-foot to even a 7-11 heavy, medium heavy, even extra heavy, and you got 65-pound braid, and you got a 6-pound bass on, or even up, and he's taking you in that lily pad. Now you got to pull vegetation with it. You got to pull that lily pad out of its roots, or cut it, and you got a 6-pound hog on the end of it, or even bigger fish. So that's why you have those heavy braids. The other thing is no stretch. Instantaneous hookup ratio. That fish has no give whatsoever. Fluorocarbon has a little bit of stretch, a little bit more than what most people think. It's about 20 to 30% less than mono, but it's still got stretch. And the other thing is why we have those high pound tests is because it has no stretch, so there's no shock absorbency. Your only shock absorbency is in your rod. Especially if you hook into like an 8-pound bass and you don't move him on the hook set, which a lot of times happens when you get a big fish like that. There's nothing to give except for your rod. When you're using a heavy or an extra heavy, that rod doesn't give much to begin with anyways. So you need those heavier pound braids to take that instant shock of that hook set and that raw power of setting that hook. Otherwise, they're just going to snap. It's just as simple as that. I don't care what line you use. That's why you need that big pound braid to take that instantaneous shock. Otherwise, they're just going to snap. So that's why you see the 65s and 80s. And the other thing is line diameter. Extremely small. Line diameters on braid is so small. 20-pound braid has like 4 to 6 pound mono diameter. It's pretty small. You can fit a lot of line on. Even more than what you will probably ever be able to cast. Even if you had like a 2-ounce weight and a 7-11 rod, you wouldn't run out of braid. It's simple as that. But those are the basic things. It does have good hook, or it does have a good line, or it does have good knot strength depending on your knot. You have to be a little careful with braid because braid's got a little wax coating on it. It likes to slip a little bit. So you got to take your time with your knot, choose your knot correctly. So I use a polymer a lot. I'm not a big polymer guy. I didn't grow up using that. I use a San Diego Jam knot a lot. Actually, I have about 10 to 15 knots in my arsenal that I use, so it just depends. Polymer is just a simple, quick braid knot, though. So that's what I tend to use. That's what I think works really great. Anyways, for all you guys out there that are starting in bass fishing, you don't know why we use heavy braids, that's why. No stretch, pretty good knot strength, no shock absorbency, so you need those higher pound tests, and you got instantaneous contact with that fish. So, stay tuned guys for more episodes of Michigan Fishing. That is just a quick 4-minute video on why we have those high poundage braids. There's plenty more reasons out there, but those are the big ones. So stay tuned for more episodes of Michigan Fishing, guys. I guarantee with these tips and tricks you will catch more bass.